like Kenya, Malawi, DRC Congo. So a number of countries have been able to use them, and they really found out that it is very effective. So the country is on the right track as far as reducing the incidence and the deaths attributed to malaria is concerned. Yeah. All
right. Thank you very much, Mr. Bernard. You have given us a good picture. You know, actually said that out well. When you give percentages to some people, they don't take it serious, but you brought us a picture of having 14 passengers in a taxi who could be dying daily. Yes. Then also regarding, okay, today's topic is about mainly like a pregnancy in, sorry, malaria in pregnancy. But could there be other people who could be more susceptible, or in other words, who could be more exposed to getting malaria in the communities? Yes, yes, yes. You see, in the population, we have people who have different levels of immunity, meaning that their bodies fight diseases differently. The same thing applies to malaria. So malaria, when it finds that your body immunity is lower, chances of you developing severe forms are quite high. When you look at children under 5 years of age, their immunity is quite low. It's still developing. So when it finds a child has low immunity, this person has a higher chances of developing malaria that can become more severe. We also have pregnant women. Due to the fact that they are pregnant, they also has pregnancy alone reduces immunity. Immunity is the ability of the body to fight against diseases. Yes, we have white blood cells in our body that fight diseases. So when the immunity is lowered, chances of a person, especially a pregnant woman, whose immunity is lowered, has higher chances of getting malaria. We also have a mobile population. You find that somebody has come from an area with the low prevalence of malaria, coming to a place with a high prevalence of malaria. In other words, somebody in your lifetime, maybe you come from a place that do not have a lot of malaria cases. Like in Uganda here, we have places like Kabale, places like Isoro, that have very, very few malaria cases. So when you come to the northern part of Uganda, you find that there are so many people who are suffering from malaria. So if you have moved from such a place to another place that has high cases of malaria, then your chances of getting malaria are also quite high. And then also we can look at people living with HIV, despite the fact that they have HIV, they also have lowered immunity. HIV alone has a potential of reducing people's immunity. But again, this is most common with those who do not adhere to treatment. It is believed that people who adhere very well to treatment and have high viral loads can actually live a normal life, and their immunities can actually be much more higher. But those who do not adhere to treatment, you find that their immunity is lowered, and when they are exposed to malaria, the plasmodium that causes malaria, they tend to really get the disease. I want to add that not everyone who is infected with malaria actually shows signs and symptoms. Okay, there are those. Malaria can actually be asymptomatic, meaning that you have the parasite in your body, but it does not transform into a disease. Okay, and then another person has the parasite and immediately becomes sick. So that explains why some people, when they get malaria, they don't develop complications. Others even clear by themselves without them knowing that they actually have malaria. So this is determined by the level of immunity that a person actually has. Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Mr. Bernard. However, I would love to give a question in regards to one of the points you gave. You said some areas have lower cases of malaria. You gave us an example of Chisoro and Kabale. Yes. And you told us northern regions, maybe you can send West Nile, districts like Arua, we can say Adjumani, they have higher cases of malaria.
Yes.
Is there a specific reasons as to why these cases are low and high in specific regions?
Yes.
Okay.
The reason is the environmental factors. You know, within the environment, there are conditions that favor multiplication of the parasite or of the mosquitoes. So when you look at those places, Kabale and so on, they are extremely cold. So most of the year, most of the times in the year, you find it is cold. So the environment does not really favor so much the survival of the mosquito, which is actually the vector, which is the organism that transmits the mosquito from one, that transmits the malaria parasite from one person to another. While this side of the northern region and other parts of the country that has higher prevalence of malaria, you find that the environment is conducive. The temperatures are high, and then there are enough breeding grounds. So generally the environment, the weather and so on provides conducive environment for the mosquitoes, especially the female Anopheles mosquitoes, to thrive. And of course, that leads to much more faster transmission of the malaria parasite from one person to another. And eventually, you realize that the population has high levels of parastemia. When I talk of levels of parastemia, I mean many people have malaria within the population. So when many people have malaria within the population, it means that even if mosquito comes and bites me, it finds that I actually have the parasite. It picks the parasite from me and it transmits to what? To another person. But in a population where the level of parastemia is low, you'll find out that even if a mosquito comes and bites me, it just comes and takes the blood. Okay? It will not find the malaria in me. So even if it goes and bites another person, there will be nothing to be transmitted to another person. Okay,
thank you very much, Mr. Bernard. Indeed, that was a clear explanation as to why we find malaria cases low in cold areas and also high in these, let me say, dry or maybe hot areas. Then also, going back to our topic of discussion today, which is malaria in pregnancy. I will bounce this question to Dr. Peace. What are some of the dangers pregnant women could get in case they get malaria?
Thank you so much, moderator. Good evening, viewers again. On the question about the dangers that pregnant mothers can have, I would like you to take the way I'm going to arrange this. The complication one is anemia. Anemia is reduced or lack of, we simply say lack of blood, but it is reduced amount of blood in the body. This is in the mother. Then after that, you put premature labor. And then put low birth weight for the baby. Then miscarriage and even death. Now this is how I'm going to explain it. Malaria affects our blood cells. The parasite eats up, causes our blood cells to break, the red blood cells to break, meaning the amount of red blood cells therefore reduces, which we now call as anemia, when the level gets lower than normal in a pregnant woman. In a pregnant woman, we expect a HB. HB is the level of red blood cells to be at 11 and above. So now that a mother has low blood level, it therefore can result into the baby being born with low weight. So that's now when you come to the next point, being a complication, being low birth weight. The baby gets to have a lower birth weight because this malaria affects the placenta, which is the connection between the mother and the baby. So when the connection between the mother and baby, the parasites are most in the placenta, it affects communication or flow of nutrients, blood, and antibodies to the baby. So at the end, the baby gets less nutrients, therefore does not gain weight, and so you end up with low birth weight. Our next point of danger being premature labor. Placenta is the organ that helps to maintain pregnancy. So now when the parasites are in the placenta affecting the function, normal functioning of the placenta, therefore it weakens the supply or communication to the baby, and it easily causes the baby, the mother, to have premature labor. Premature labor is when the baby comes out before the time the baby is to come. That is from 28 weeks. 28 weeks is roughly 7 months. So from 7 months before is 8.5, or is 8, we talk of 36 weeks. So from 28 to 36 weeks, before 36 weeks, we term it as a premature labor. Then another point of danger is miscarriage. Miscarriage is the layman's language, but we term it as abortion. So in this case, it's spontaneous. It's happening on its own. And in this case, it still comes back to our placenta. We have said the placenta is the major maintainer, or the organ that maintains our pregnancy. So when it gets weak and it's not able to support this pregnancy anymore, then the mother loses the pregnancy. Then the last, which we actually dread, or we do not want should happen, is death. And in this case, when the mother dies, it would start with the baby. Since the placenta is being affected by the parasites, nutrients are reduced to the baby, therefore both the mother and the baby can actually die. However, the most complicated is the baby will die, and that's where you see we have a missed abortion or an intrauterine fetal death. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Peace. I also have a question in regards to anemia. I happened to see a woman who had malaria at one point. She was pregnant. She had white hands. Can you give some explanation on that?
Thank you so much. We are different, and some people have pale. When we say white hands, we're looking at the palm. So some people have clearly pale palms, but others have darker ones. So usually we tend to compare a health worker locally, we compare, or physically we compare a health worker's palm with the one of the mother. Since this time we're looking at the mother alone. However, when there is a child, then you put the palm of the mother, you put the baby's palm there, then you put yours. That's how we compare. So when the palm is pale or white, you think the mother most likely has anemia, which is low blood level. However, until you check, you cannot tell. Because some people are light-skinned, and a light-skinned person definitely has pale palm.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Peace. Again, I come back to you. How can our viewers, especially the pregnant women, prevent malaria in their communities and homes?
Thank you so much. Just as Bernard had said before, there are various interventions that the government of Uganda has brought forward for us to carry out. And one of them, particularly for pregnant women, is the constant and proper use of insecticide-treated nets. And then we have going early for antenatal care services. So when we encourage our mothers to go for antenatal care services, at the antenatal care contact with the midwife or the technical health worker at the facility, they do various examinations and various investigations, and then they also give some supplies. So out of it is the insecticide-treated net. Now, these mothers, at the first visit, they investigate them, they test for malaria and other conditions as well, HIV, syphilis, all that. Now, when they find a mother is pregnant, is having malaria, we treat the malaria. However, in the supplies we give the mothers to go home with, health education is one of it, and then we give the net, encouraging them to use the net properly, and they use it consistently. Then in the antenatal visits, we encourage the husbands to come with the mother. That will help to support the mother in case during the day the mother is so tired, has worked, and ends up going to sleep without having to put the net down. You as the husband who got health education during the antenatal care visit, you will support her by putting the net for her. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Peace and Mr. Bernard, for this interactive session and educative one we have had in the first segment. Let's first go for a short commercial breather. I will be back in the next segment where Dr. Peace will tell us one of the advantages we see. They always give women some drugs which resemble Panadol. So we shall get to know the use of these drugs, especially during antenatal visits. Let's get back. Thank you.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Every journey to motherhood is unique, but the path to a healthy pregnancy begins with a simple choice. The choice to care for yourself and the life growing inside you. It's the little steps, the moments of care and support that matter most. Early antenatal care within the first 3 months of pregnancy and attending at least 8 antenatal care visits. It's not just a routine, it's the foundation of a safe, healthy pregnancy and baby. When we care for the ones we love, we take the steps that matter. We make sure every appointment counts. Be her keeper, support her journey, attend early and full antenatal care as told by the health worker. If you suspect to be pregnant, go to the health center today to confirm and ensure a healthy start for your baby. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health with support from UNICEF.
It's time to break free with Azam TV. Grab yourself a full kit at 80,000 shillings or an Azam decoder at 40,000 shillings. Experience the thrill of every goal in La Liga, Italian Serie A, German Bundesliga, and the excitement of live sports action from the Saudi Pro League and Carabao Cup on Azam Plus and Play Package in HD. Your favorite China Uganda movies on Chamuka TV on Azam Pure for just 13,000 shillings monthly. Unlock a world of sports and entertainment with Azam TV, the most affordable pay TV around. Visit any of our agents or call 0312 308 900 for more details.
Azam TV, entertainment for everybody.
In the dance of shadows and light lies the heart of Uganda's resilience amidst the challenges of the night, where innovation meets necessity and education refuses to be dimmed, where connection thrives in the absence of power. Embrace the power of the sun with StarTime's solar range of solutions. And empower your journey towards a brighter tomorrow. StarTime Solar. Power your life.
Every journey to motherhood is unique, but the path to a healthy pregnancy begins with a simple choice. The choice to care for yourself and the life growing inside you. It's the little steps, the moments of care and support that matter most. Early antenatal care within the first 3 months of pregnancy and attending at least 8 antenatal care visits. It's not just a routine, it's the foundation of a safe, healthy pregnancy and baby. When we care for the ones we love, we take the steps that that matter. We make sure every appointment counts. Be her keeper. Support her journey. Attend early and full antenatal care as told by the health worker. If you suspect to be pregnant, go to the health center today to confirm and ensure a healthy start for your baby. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health with support from UNICEF.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
We'll be back, dear viewers, from that short commercial break. And those who have just joined us, our talk show today was dedicated to malaria in pregnancy. In other words, in case a pregnant woman has malaria, what could be the next steps or what things could have exposed her to get this malaria? Then in the first segment, Mr. Bernard, who is the senior health educator at Arua City, took us through the picture of malaria. How are the numbers of people who get malaria here in the in the city and the district, and also the pregnant women. Then also we saw Dr. Peace, who is the acting DH or the district health officer, take her through the dangers a pregnant woman could go through in case she has malaria. Then in this segment, or our second segment, she's going to take her through the use, or maybe talk more about these drugs they always give to the women, which look like Panadol, especially during the antenatal visits. Though we hear people, others call them fancy. We'll be back, Dr. Peace. You can pick on from there.
Thank you so much. So in the prevention, I've mentioned the insecticide treated meds and then attending antenatal. So during this antenatal care service that the mothers come for, some drugs are given at certain ages of the pregnancy, or weeks or months of the pregnancy. For us, we mostly talk of weeks. So to make it easier, I will make it easy for the listeners or viewers of the months. So the drug we give, which looks like Panadol, is not Panadol, but it is Fansida. And it is the name, which is easy, is Fansida. But the generic name or the medical name, we call it is pyranithamine.
Yes.
So now, it is a drug that prevents a prophylaxis or something which helps to prevent this mother from getting malaria. And so this drug is given from a pregnancy or a mother having a pregnancy of 4 months and above. However, we encourage our mothers to come for antenatal even before 3 months ends. That is the first trimester. So when they come, there are other drugs they actually give you. Folic acid, for you to increase on your blood level, and then the others, which if you have other conditions, they add. However, for this particular one, for malaria, which is Fansida, which we mostly call Fansida, is given from 4 months onwards. And we give this drug specifically to help prevent the malaria from affecting one, since we've called it a prophylaxis, for the mother from getting the malaria. And so it therefore helps to improve the outcome of the pregnancy. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Peace. I hope the mothers have gotten to understand that this drug helps, or is like, should I say, askari, to prevent the mothers from getting malaria during the pregnancy period. Then, however, also would love to know from you, how and when should these pregnant mothers get these preventive drugs towards malaria?
Thank you so much. Just as I mentioned, we give the drug from when you're pregnant 4 months onwards. And we are supposed to give it at a space time from the other dose 4 weeks. Meaning every 1 month, as you go for your visit, antenatal visit, you get the Fansida. And we give this Fansida as a dot. Dot is directly observed therapy. That's why when you go to maternities or antenatal area, there is a section where there is water. It is supposed to be a clean, safe water for the mothers to swallow the drugs as the health worker observes. So these mothers are given this the Fancida to swallow at the clinic, not to go with them, because some may forget. You know, at this stage the mother is not really very normal, so they can easily forget. So we encourage that the midwives have water at a certain section for the mothers to fetch to swallow their drugs. And this drug, when it's given, they are supposed to help this mother, as we've said, to make her not get the malaria. And then this drug is given to any mother from 4 months onwards, swallowed at the time in the clinic, and even when hungry, the mother takes this drug.
Actually, that was going to be my next question. You know, there are some drugs, whenever they prescribe them, like give them to the mothers, they tell them, don't swallow this drug before you eat. So meaning here, the mothers can take the drugs even when they are hungry.
Yes.
Okay, then I have a question. In case a mother takes the Fancida and does not sleep under the net, can they still get malaria?
Yes, they can.
Okay.
Because we say proper use of the net. Maybe the part which I did add on the proper use is you get into the net early. If the net gets torn, you patch that tear, and then you ensure you tuck in. And the number of occupants in the net should be that which does not make you end up leaning the net on the net. Because when the mosquito sits, it will sit on the net, all right, but your skin is next to the net. So the mosquito easily bites you.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Peace. Hope the viewers have gotten that point. You know, some may take this Fancida and think that's it, or even if I don't sleep under the net, they won't catch malaria. Please, you still have to sleep under these treated mosquito nets. Then I go back to Mr. Bernard. Actually, it was last month, but when we had a camp here, so it was about a talk show. You guys were launching a program called I Am Her Keeper. It was a campaign. Also, in this talk show, please, I would love you to enlighten more about the roles the spouse, let me say now in this case we can say the husband, the family or the relatives around, and the friends can play for these pregnant mothers in order to keep them safe.
Yes, thank you so much, our moderator. I Am Her Keeper is a new concept that has come in to support or to enable us improve ANC attendance or antenatal attendances in our country, of course within our region or our districts here. Now, in the past, mothers used to go for antenatal alone, but again, those days the responsibility of taking care of a pregnant mother used to mostly lie in the hands of the grandmother, the grandfather, the husband, the aunties. So you would see that the entire family would get concerned about a pregnant mother, and they would ensure that this mother actually delivers. Of course, during those days, the goal was to deliver, but we were also aware that services those days were inadequate, and mortalities used to be very high. But again, as services started increasing, people started improving health-seeking behaviors. The government improved the services, health facilities placed everywhere. So accessibility to health facility became a little much more easier. And we started seeing that the husbands who are supposed to escort their mothers to the hospital started relaxing. And then also the grandmothers, the grandfathers. So people have decided, okay, people have started relaxing in taking care of a pregnant mother. And that is why Ministry of Health came with a concept that every mother who is pregnant should be escorted to the health facility by her husband. And the main aim is so that they get information together, they get tested together, and diseases that can be treated there and there can be treated diseases like syphilis that have an effect on the unborn child can be treated. Then diseases like HIV, if one of them is positive, then they can be put on treatment so that at the end of it all, the child who is going to be born should actually be born negative, and after some period of time, this child should not get HIV. So this concept now has come to remind the people who are supposed to be responsible for this pregnant mother. Now, the first person is actually the husband. The husband has a very big responsibility. First of all, he has to make sure that he escorts his pregnant mother to the hospital for antenatal. We recommend that as soon as the woman has missed her period, within the first 3 months of pregnancy, this man should escort her to the hospital, so that they get the first hand and the first information together. They get health educated together, so that in the subsequent month, he's able to support this mother effectively. Number 2, he's supposed to ensure that he buys at least a maternity dress for this mother to make her movements to the hospital easy. The same husband is also supposed to provide transport, ensure that transport is available, so that whenever she has her time to go for ANC, the transport is available. And then also, you know, a pregnant mother eats for 2 people. It's for herself and then also the child. So there are nutrients that are very important for the development of the unborn child. So this husband is supposed to ensure that this mother eats well. And if he doesn't get this information from antenatal, it means that there will be a gap in the nutritional status of this mother. Now, the second person is actually the grandmother. For us in Lubara, we call it a dra. So a grandmother has a very big responsibility to play. Number 1, she has to remind the son that, you know, my son, my daughter-in-law is now pregnant, and it is time for you to take her for antenatal. So you have to escort this mother to antenatal, get information there together, so that all the processes during her pregnancy goes on successfully. Secondly, the grandmother is supposed to also relieve her of mother-in-law. Yes, mother-in-law is supposed to relieve her of some of the duties. Of course, you know, some of these pregnant women are hardworking. Naturally, they are hardworking. They want to go to the garden to dig. They want to fetch water in difficult places. They want to do all the hard work. But the mother-in-law is supposed to remind her that, you know, my daughter-in-law, this is a heavy work. You are supposed to have a lot of rest so that you keep yourself healthy, and then the unborn baby also grows healthy. And then also some house chaos, you see. The mother-in-law is also supposed to guide and reduce some of the workload that she does on a daily basis, so that she is healthy. And then the third person who is very, very important is actually her friends. We are aware that every person has a friend. Every pregnant woman has her best friend. That best friend has a role to play. Number 1, one of her role is also to remind her that, you know, it is your time for going for antenatal. Is to remind her, have you ever gone for antenatal? If you have never gone, please go. Number 2, the friend is also supposed to support her. If necessary, the friend can actually also escort her together with the husband for antenatal. And then also this same friend can actually remind her and also give her education about some of the things that are actually needed for this process. You know, we have pregnant mothers who have never produced before. It is their first time, and they need a lot of support from their friends, from their mother-in-law, and from the other people. We also have the VHTs in the community. You see, VHTs, or village health team members, are a group of people who are at the community level and doing a lot of health-related work. So one of their biggest role is to follow up and mobilize all the pregnant mothers within their community and refer them to the health center for antenatal. So a VHT is supposed to know how many pregnant mothers do I have in my village, how many antenatal services have they attended, and then even when are they going to deliver, including do they have any risk factors, so that any mother who has risk factors like previous scars or previous operations, okay, and then a history of bleeding, history of maybe a child dying in her womb. So all those risks are supposed to be known by the VHT, so that he or she refers this mother to the health center as quickly as possible. Of course, the last person is the health worker. The health worker is too important that the way you handle a mother can also determine her health-seeking behaviors. We strongly encourage our health workers to be really compassionate and also empathetic and offer services to these mothers to the best of their abilities. Okay, so a health worker does examination, does risk assessments, gives health educations, monitors this mother right from the time she comes for antenatal and then to the last, until the last time. Of course, the health worker also helps them to develop the birth preparedness plan, which is very important. We have seen situations where mothers who do not attend antenatal do not have any clear birth preparedness plan. They even don't know where they are going to deliver. They don't know which transport they are going to use when that time of delivery comes or when labor comes. And sometimes they have not prepared the clothes to receive the child. So there's a lot of issues, a lot of danger that comes in when these mothers do not attend antenatal. So I Am Her Keeper has therefore come in handy to remind and ensure that all those who are responsible for the well-being of this pregnant mother should actually take their responsibility and ensure that we have mothers who get pregnant and go through all the 8 stages of antenatal attendances. Of course, they complete all the 8 antenatal attendances, deliver healthy babies, and then come home also to enjoy the outcome of the successful pregnancy that you have, which is a live baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Bernard. Indeed, you gave a good detail. You broke down all these roles. Those if the spouse should do, the family should do, and the relatives, the friends. Indeed, I know if you're on the screen, you have gotten to know what you should do for a pregnant woman in your home setting. Then last, I bounce this question to Dr. Peace. We have seen of scenarios where pregnant women hire border men to escort them for antenatal visits. What have you done to overcome such a challenge? Thank you.
Thank you so much, moderator. The policy was set that a mother, as goes for antenatal care visit or contact or service, that comes with the husband, just as we had said, the spouse will help keep her. So the spouse is her keeper. Now we encourage the spouse to come. However, gentlemen, we understand that in most cases you're the breadwinner and you get to be taken up doing many things. Then you forget that you need to be with this woman when she goes for antenatal. You're the one who placed the baby in her. Meaning you're supposed to be responsible and go with her for the antenatal. Because of your occupation or you're being committed in other areas, you would not be able to go for the antenatal services with her. Then at the health facility, the midwives press on mothers to come with their husbands. And they know when you go as a couple, one, you're handled early, things are made easy for you so that they release you to go home because they know the man cannot delay as much as a woman. Now that the women get to know that, they decide to pick the border men to act as their husbands. And we get to know this, we got to know this later on. You find scenarios where when you now reach testing, the couple, and you find they're discordant, especially for HIV, you find the other one is positive and then the other one is negative. They say, that is not actually my husband. So that's now where we get to know that we discourage that so much. It's not that we cannot give you the services of antenatal care when you come alone, but we encourage that husband, being her keeper, needs to come with her. So we really have to request or continue sensitizing the gentlemen that they need to be responsible and keep their wives. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Peace and Mr. Bernard. Key to note from this talk show, a woman should attend all the 8 antenatal visits which have been put in place. The man should be there for the wife.
Exactly.
They shouldn't leave their wives. You can give in your conclusion remarks. We shall start with Mr. Bernard as we end the program.
Yeah, thank you so much. I want to conclude by saying that the malaria prevention vaccination is going to be a game changer, of course. It will not be a standalone preventive measure, but it should be applied together with other preventive measures that we had mentioned earlier on. So it does not mean that when a child is fully vaccinated with malaria vaccine, it does not mean that this child will not get what? Malaria. But it means that the child will have much more stronger immunity, that even if malaria gets him or her, he will not develop severe malaria. It will be simple malaria that can be cured very easily with Quatam. That's the point that people need to know.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Bernard. Then to Dr. Peace.
Thank you so much. So for the malaria vaccine, the launch is on the 2nd, and it will be officially at Apache.
Yes.
However, vaccines have been distributed all over the country for us to start on vaccinating our children. So we request mothers, encourage mothers to take their babies from 6 months for the malaria vaccine. On the 10th, there is going to be a malaria walk in Arua City, meaning we're going to march the streets of Arua City. This is all to put up for the various interventions against malaria. Malaria is real and it actually kills.
Remind them of the cost of the kit.
The cost of the kit for testing?
No, the kit for the walk.
The kit for the walk.
30,000.
It's 30,000. For the kit for the walk is 30,000. Please come, come all. And even those who are in the offices, you can give your time and come. You may not be able to walk with us, but you're able to support.
Exactly.
The kit. Thank you. And then for the malaria, in pregnancy, mothers are encouraged to go for antenatal care services, because giving you Fansida, the net will help you prevent malaria. Even if you end up still getting malaria, you will be treated. Going for antenatal services, you give all your complaints and they get them and they investigate. If they find you have the infection, malaria on, then they still treat you. And for being her keeper, we encourage everybody. It is like a person dying. If a mother dies, just look at the people who come for the funeral. So meaning everybody is her keeper. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Peace. And together we can end malaria in pregnancy with the campaign, I Am Her Keeper. Thank you very much all who have been with us from the start of the program up to the end. I've been your host, Sunday Junior Tom. See you next time. Have a blessed night. Thank you.